You have a brother by the name of Desmond Weston. He spent 29 years of his life in jail for something he did not do. Now, I want you to watch these clips, but we need to talk about this issue that constantly keeps happening to black men.
Flipping through memories, a mother searches for photos of her son.
Yep.
Before their lives changed in 1990.
I see myself, as I always did, a person who should not have been in prison.
Yet Desmond Weston spent 29 years locked up, convicted at age 17 after Chicago police tortured him into a false confession for murder.
It wasn't Chicago police officers. It was a group of Chicago police detectives.
Detectives who all worked under disgraced CPD Commander John Burge. Desmond always maintained his innocence. Even his attorney doubted the forced confession, telling him,
"Oh, they're not going to believe a black boy from Inglewood over the word of these detectives," stuff like that. So it made me feel how I was at that point, this big.
Yet Desmond kept believing. And when a jury convicted Burge, he saw renewed hope.
I hated that it happened to somebody else, but at the same time, I don't understand if people understand the relief to find out it didn't just happen to you.
After many court motions and losing 29 years, a judge vacated his conviction, allowing Desmond to walk free and jump into a car heading back to Chicago where his mother waited.
Best road trip ever. Best road trip ever. Because it was taking me from a place that I didn't want to be to a place I always wanted to be.
Back home, right in the arms of his biggest supporter. His mother jumping for joy to have her son home. It's a holiday homecoming where each hug means so much. Sure, Desmond is free, but transitioning will take time.
It's a new journey in terms of just getting familiar with the faces that are around me.
And forgetting the images of the confinements of prison walls.
What I did today is I survived incarceration. Because I was released, I was able to walk away from where a lot of people don't survive.
Now, that cop that you heard, John Burge, he locked up a lot of young black boys and young brothers in his time period. That guy and his group of white supremacists, because all of them were white supremacists, they would beat black men to get them to confess to murders. They would be calling them the N-word the whole time. They would take them to locations and just do all kind of ungodly things to them. And when they finally arrested John Burge, all he got was 3 years. For all the torturing he did to black people, getting them to confess to crimes they did not commit, which is the same thing that happened to this brother. He said they beat him senseless for 12 hours to get him to confess to a murder that he did not commit. These people are sick. These people do the most evil things to black people. And when you hear me talk about having an Africa plan or doing different things on the continent, and you have these Captain America black folks coming around, we are mass incarcerated in this country. You understand? There's how many stories that we have reported time and time again of black men spending 20 and 30 years in prison for something they did not do. Do you know, and I researched it, they don't have a mass incarceration problem in the continent of Africa, nowhere. No country. They don't mass incarcerate their people like that. That's a plus right there. But in this country, it's mass incarceration of black men, and it's done by the 13th Amendment. The amendment that says it's okay to put you in jail and make you a slave. Just like that Democrat billionaire Michael Bloomberg was using prison slavery to do things with his campaign until he was exposed doing it. And you know good and well the majority of the people who are doing it will be black. These people do not care what they do to us as black people. And it's quite funny, you have individuals saying go to this system and get this system to save you. This system not coming to save us. They ain't saving us nothing. We got to save ourselves. You have to be a fool and a half to run around here looking to them to save you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And how we got the civil rights movement, that was a situation where they were forced to do something because the civil rights movement was tearing up this country. It wasn't no, give me this, please do this for me, please, man, no. That's not, but most people don't even know, even some of these people that run around talking don't even know American history. To know why they got a civil rights bill. It wasn't because they wanted to give a civil rights bill. But this situation here is 29 years of this brother's life gone. He could never get that back. Now, you know that they offered him $200,000 for 29 years of his life gone? $200,000. He didn't take it, and that's good. Because he deserved a whole lot more than $200,000. The city of Chicago should be ashamed of itself for wanting to offer him $200,000 and take a certificate of innocence. I mean, come on, no. You need to be adding a bunch of millions to that. Sure, in my opinion, you need to give him $30 million. That's how I feel about $1 million for each year. And some just for his pain and suffering on top of that. But this is a story that happens to a lot of brothers. A young brother that didn't do anything was beaten senseless. But you know what? Things don't last forever. That's why everything's slipping away from them. That's why things is not the same anymore. That's why they fear demographic change. Because see, all the things that you did to us, you know, you can't last forever. There's a lot of ungodly things that's been done to us as black Americans that people don't know about. You know, how many times have they done stories about police pick up somebody and then they never see him again? Some brothers say they go into the store and they never see him again. You remember the brother that I interviewed from the UK where he said that the police are going to take him to jail, but then they stop by a bridge and they start talking amongst each other? How many times have they probably killed black men and not even get them to the jail? See, this is what we're dealing with as black men. And nobody else in this country deal with the things that we deal with. That's why I don't want to hear no talk about no people of color, no disadvantaged communities, no minorities. No, that's the last thing I want to hear, because no minorities, people of color, disadvantaged communities go through the hell that black people go through in this country. That's offensive to me. You can tell me, or black and anything else. It's no and dealing with nothing else but like we're dealing with it in the magnitude that black people are dealing with these issues and problems. I mean, just constantly locking black men up. But then you got people running around here with an opioid epidemic, but yet you don't have them being mass incarcerated. They're being given Narcan, and they're having centers open to help them out. But when black people was on drugs, you mass incarcerate them. That's why I say, man, it's like some of the things that people say, I just shake my head. But I hope this brother, you know, he got his associate's degree while he was in jail, as I see here. He got his GED. But for him to try to get back, I mean, think about it. Almost 30 years gone in your life, the world has changed so much in 30 years by leaps and bounds. This brother got to get to know society all over again. And I tell you what, I will be gone out of the state of Illinois. I'll be gone. I'll tell that brother, get your passport. Matter of fact, I would even leave this place. I would be gone. I'm like, look, I'm going to Africa. I ain't dealing with y'all. I don't want to be nowhere near y'all. You know, never again. That's just kind of how I would react to it. I don't want to be bothered with none of y'all no more. Because that's just injustice. And that's okay as long as it's happening to the black man. That's okay. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story. I mean, just to see this over and over and over and over again. And it just amazes me how some of y'all just be caping for the system. It's just amazing to me. After seeing this many stories, all the hell we constantly dealing with, what our ancestors dealt with, it just, I don't know, man. You know, like I said, Stockholm Syndrome is something else.